And I remember the car being like hit there and jumping, and sort of I flipped back and headed into the windscreen up on the roof and ended up like 20 or 30 metres down the track. Woke up, people everywhere, claret everywhere.
So would you end up stitches in your head, stitches in your back?
Yeah, so the lucky thing, I jumped and hit the windscreen. So nothing hit I think just the inside of my ankle was the only thing. But yeah, basically they said if I didn't, then both my legs would have been pretty much cactus.
Well, that's this week's guest, Travis Head. Still a very young man at 28, but boy, has he achieved so much already. 27 test matches for Australia. There's 4 tons there, including a couple of ripping knocks in the recent Ashes whitewash, where he was awarded the man of the series. But it's not all cricket. Trav and fiancée Jess have been parents for a massive 6 days with the birth of little Milla last week. So how's he handling fatherhood? We're about to find out. And Trav's faced some huge challenges coming back from adversity. As a teen, playing for South Australia, he was cleaned up in a car accident outside a pub. And then, of course, flying in the plane with Jess, they had a near miss in the Maldives. And, of course, the terrible tragedy of losing great mate Phil Hughes. Trav's going to discuss it all. A wonderful young man and a great leader on and off the field. Now, this episode does talk about mental health, so if you have any concerns, please contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Rightio, let's go. Welcome along to the Soda Room, a place where we get to know the real stories behind some of the biggest names in the game.
It was like we had won the grand final.
I just got some new boots. It was something special for me.
Did you understand the significance of that moment?
Oh,
as captain?
yeah. Nothing compared.
That's what I thought I had to do as a leader.
You got the same undies on.
I've got exactly the same ones on.
Travis Head, welcome along, mate. I feel stupid because I would say welcome along to the Soda Room.
There we go. It's good to be here.
Mate, it's a safe place where we can talk judgment-free and just chat about life. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, mate, is congratulations, because tomorrow is the celebration of being a dad for 1 week.
1 week. Yeah, little Milla Page come last Friday morning, so...
Tell us, how do you feel now as a dad?
Yeah,
you're a young
amazing.
dad.
Yeah, 28.
28?
Oh, amazing. It's been, a roller coaster ride. It happens from... I found out the day I got home from the Ashes, and that feels like an eternity ago, but 9 months raced, and then the last week felt like I went for a year. So we're very eager to meet her, and Jess did a wonderful job, partner, and
yes.
Yeah, we're over the moon. She's lovely.
So Jess is all good, Milla's all good?
Everyone's good at the moment, with a few sleepless nights.
Yes.
And taking it day by day and rolling with the punches at the moment. But we're sort of trading on and off hours at the moment, and it's good fun.
Tell me the moment that you see the baby. Well, I've got 3 kids.
Yeah.
And when it happens, you just go, no way. Because it feels like it's the most natural thing in the world, like a baby comes out. I know that sounds ridiculous.
I think we're both in awe. I think we're both naive about what the whole situation was going to be, and we're very calm. We're both pretty relaxed people, and I actually played a practice game Wednesday, Thursday. So I rolled up the practice game on Thursday, and all the boys are like, because Jess was booked in Friday morning. Yep. Even though we went into labour at 1 a.m. That night. All the boys are like, wow, you're going to be a dad tomorrow. How you feeling? And I was like, pretty good, like pretty calm about things. Calm parents, calm baby. Hopefully that's the plan. But I think we're both just in awe of when it actually happened, that we actually created something so special and so good. And looking forward to that journey now. It's amazing.
Do you feel different? I know it's only 6 days, but do you look at the world differently? I don't know if that's a stupid question, but honestly, I felt once it happened, you go, oh my God, I'm now in charge of something. I'd look after something and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think not something, I don't know, it's a hard one to I guess, express, but you see it and you're just amazed by it. But I think you just get into little habits, like the way you drive, whether it just be like how you concentrate. I think that's the only thing, like the big thing for me is just like you're protecting her. So as simple as driving, and you're making sure that you're super cautious, and you like you wouldn't even pull out on the road if there's a car the first time driving 100 metres up the road, and you're like, I don't think I'm going to go. Walking through doors, how careful and how protective you are of them. So that will just continue to get stronger and stronger. And
absolutely. So that first strike, because you were at Ashford Hospital. Yeah. You pulled out. You would have got back on Anzac Highway at some point. Were you just sitting there going, oh no?
It was beautiful. It started raining and everything. Just tested me. And Jess was in the back and she was a bit nervous and trying to get her in the car seat to start, and you don't know what you're doing. So but no, the experience, whether it's changed me, I think I can realise that I can operate off not much sleep. I was a really good sleeper, tried to sleep heaps. Realise now that 30-minute, 40-minute sleeps during the night. You wake up bright like you slept for 6 hours at the moment. So let's see in a month's time if that continues.
Do you know, I remember driving home the first time and you drive out of the driveway and there's like a little bump, you know, and I'm going, oh no, is he all right? Is he all right?
Yeah.
And then you're driving on the road looking, I'm doing 30. I'm probably more dangerous to people doing 30 than I am sitting there doing 60.
Yeah, so I was only nervous that sort of like that first little bit, and then I think I had that thought. It's like you got to get on with it. You've got to get moving. You got to stay in your lane and keep on the right speed. And not try and change too many things because, like you said, if you try and change too much, or you'll actually get yourself probably in more strife. So,
mate, fantastic. Now tell us the name Milla. Did it come easy, or did you have to sort of go back and forward? Who came up with it?
Yeah, no, it come very difficult for a girl. Boy, we had like locked and loaded pretty much.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And I think we've learned a lesson because we've got 2 dogs at home as well, 2 boys. So Jess is over the moon about having a girl in the house.
Right.
And we used Bailey and Leo for our dogs' names, and we actually really like those names. So we were a bit like, oh no, but we got a boy's name and straight away, and then we found out we're having a girl. And it took a long time. It took 7 months to like going back and forth. Jess come up with the name, and I come around to it and absolutely love it now. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, and I don't see it being anything other than a Milla.
Besides the sleep, what's been the one change you've noticed now in 6 days?
Looking at like just being able to be on the go, like, and you've got something else to look at. Like I've got her to look after, so, and Jessica, and I think it's probably made us. I've realised like how much she went through over the last week, so it gives me a great appreciation. I think being around and being at home for it, being at hospital for 5 or 6 days. So as much as for our relationship as well, I think it's another step. It's a great chapter for us.
Yep.
And we've been beautiful together. So
it's worked out well because obviously we're coming into our summer for cricket.
Yeah.
Because if it had been we're coming into winter and you're off on tour, geez, you would have been in the bad books.
Yeah, so we're actually meant to be on tour now. So we're the one-day tour in Cairns and Townsville that I had to pull out of, and Sarah was sweet about it. So I don't think I was ever missing it for the world. But I know some of the other guys have been bigger tours and whatnot have seen the birth and then ducked off like 2 or 3 days later. So we're actually talking about that today, Jess and I, about how mental it is and how much pressure it puts on Jess. Obviously, she's trying to recover. Milla's going crazy. She's feeding all the time. She's sleeping. She's trying to burp her. You're trying to work out what's wrong with her, and Jess just needs extra support. And so to be here and see that will give me a better understanding and great appreciation when I'm away and she's going through a tough time.
Do you know the Gowans twins from football?
Yep.
James and Chris, right? Great Central District and Sample superstars. I reckon their dad, who they call Mongrel, his nickname's Mongrel, he said that when the twins were born, he dropped his wife off at the hospital to have the kids, and he drove off and played in a footy practice match.
There you go. Yeah, well, I got the practice match out the day before, and I'm not getting another one for another week or two, I don't think. So, yeah, it's just a crazy world, isn't it? And then twins, like, we actually wanted twins. Just
really?
Dead keen, and we thought we were a chance at one stage. Geez, it'd be hard work.
Oh, mate, you see what it's like with one.
Yeah.
Although twins, there's 2 of you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like when when you get to have your second one, I'm sure at some point, when there's 2. Then when there's 3, it just throws the mix right out because it's like you need an extra person around to look after the third one.
Yeah.
Well, mate, that's brilliant. I'm so excited that that's happened. Right, let's wind the clock back a little bit. Northern suburbs boy, Craigmore, tough part of town growing up. Was it? What were you like as a young bloke?
Obviously heavily into sport. I think every boy that grows up.
Was cricket number one?
No, I played everything.
Yeah. What was the favourite at that point when you were a youngster?
Well, I played soccer from an early age.
Yeah.
Didn't play football until a bit later. But yeah, played soccer. And the base of the story is there's YMCA in Craigmore playing indoor soccer sort of thing, and drove past cricket and just told Mum, pull over is the story. So pull over and I want some of that. And Mum sort of was like, oh, I'm not sure. Ended up starting and just falling in love with it. So
how old were you when you made that call?
It would have been 5 or 6 probably.
So, right. What was it?
I don't know.
Was it the white outfits? Was it the bat? What caught your eye?
I'm not sure, but just just fell in love with it. And then just from there, Craigmore Cricket Club, and then very fortunate to get to Tea Tree Gully. Northern Districts would be a bit disappointed because they never replied to my father's emails. So
is that right?
Yeah, so I ended up at Tea Tree Gully.
Geez, I tell you, someone from Northern Districts, if they listen to this,
they might be still in the junk mail.
Yeah, exactly. Geez, that's cost them big time, hasn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, who knows where we could have been if I didn't get there. I was very fortunate. Tea Tree Gully are amazing.
That's a good thing about sport, though, isn't it? Because you think at such a young age, you're playing with 23-year-old blokes who are going out after the game, having fun and being crazy and doing 23-year-old bloke things, and you're 14, 15 going, right, is this what I've got to look forward to?
A bit the same as well, being Northern Suburbs, Gawler boy, and going to footy.
You start young?
Yeah, I started reasonably young. As much as mum and dad probably don't like it. Yeah, I lived my youth, which was good. I had good fun, and I definitely learned those lessons. Obviously, when I got a bit older and sort of got to 18 and 19, playing then state cricket, obviously flying that's jumping ahead a little bit, but that compromised grade cricket a little bit because I was Were
you a bit of a loose cat then?
No, not a loose cat. I think I just had a lot of my youth taken away as much. I was just so embedded in cricket. And then I debuted for South Australia 4 weeks out of school.
Yeah.
So I went from nothing and I never had a job. I did a week of plumbing work experience and I did 3/4 of a TAFE course of boiler making at school and boiler making tough gig like Adelaide summer in the welding kit. So that gave me a good appreciation that get the ball rolling on cricket and where South Australia are at. But I then debuted 2 weeks and I'm going for dinner with Fergie and Adam Crossweight and a day before the Shield game and I'm sitting having a steak and they drink 2 bottles of red. They split the bill. It cost me $140. All I've had was a steak. So like it matured me pretty quick to then I come back and then I think, I just went back to Gawler on I get a Friday night, but I had to play Craig cricket on a Saturday. Like I enjoyed myself on a Friday night. Dad would then pick me up, take me to cricket and the boys were good about it. They sort of turned a blind eye and were like, okay.
How much of a tight ass is Callum Ferguson not to throw you a bone and cover the red wine himself?
Well, it's good. He taught me a good lesson. So now when I get the young blokes in and I take them out for dinner, it's split bill and
good bottle.
You got to make sure you got to earn you got to make sure you eat up to make the money worth.
Absolutely. How good were you at soccer?
Well, I've been 15, 16 and just like had enough. Like
really?
Yeah, mum was spewing like because I wanted them to play footy and then I'm running around then. I was actually quite good at footy. I got invited out to Centrals but that Ponderosa's way too big.
Man, that's a lot of running.
So I did the first lap. I was like, I'm playing cricket. Like this is way too hard. But I sort of missed the invitation, and I had to do 6 weeks. And Jeff Brown was down there from Centrals, and really good friends with Dad, and sort of was like, where is he? What's he doing? And the same sort of time I was mixing with under 19 World Cup. So I just sort of made the decision that I was like, nah, cricket's for me.
What was it? Cricket over footy? Just that you were better at it?
No, I loved cricket way
Besides
more.
the size of the Ponderosa too. For anyone knows, the Central District footy ground is ridiculous. It's like a suburb. It's as big as a suburb.
My one wood is game day. And I'm not the best trainer. And I don't really love running around the uni loop and I don't love pre-season. That's why I try and get to England. And this footy, like you've got to be a different beast to play footy. My brother's got that in him. My brother's half decent, but he went through a heap of knee recos and doesn't play anymore. Yeah. He has that has that training element. He's like calories to a T and I never got that side of things. It doesn't really bother me. Like, I know what I need to do to play well, and I'm just game day compete. So I think the footy aspect of things, I loved cricket. And I was already entrenched in it and doing it 3 or 4 times a week at that stage. So it was always cricket for me.
So you obviously play for SA as a youngster. I love thinking about this, the mental side of it. When you're a kid and these blokes are coming down, I mean, now obviously as an international star, you've 140, 150K bullets coming down. When that's happening, what are you thinking? Particularly when you're younger and you start getting these men bowling at you really, really quick.
Yeah, I think you're pretty naive at the start. And you're just like carefree. And I think you see a lot of that with a lot of guys. You blaze away and you play carefree because you're like, how good is this? Like, And then you get the next year and the expectation is either competing, you're trying to stay in the team, and then you're trying to win games. Then that pressure begins. But walking out and playing is like that's what we do. So, and I think ball speed wise, I think as you progress through B grade, like the jump from C grade to B grade is big. The jump from B grade to A grade is really big. So that is just progressing, and blokes just have their peak. So like the guys that play for Australia, that's their peak. Yep. There might be other guys that are technically way better. Yep. But their peak is like A grade cricket, if that makes sense. Ball speed goes up, and they just go. So so you're standing there at the crease, and you're going to see someone coming in, going, what's going through your head? Depends what it is. If it's Lords on a dark evening and you're facing Jofra Archer, there's moments where you go, okay, I'm in some, it could be like, strife. Yep. But then once they're running in, it's just, you're just zoned and you're so used to it. Like I said, playing for Australia, you got to face Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins. Yep. In the nets, James Pattinson. Like that's not fun. That's the worst time. That's the worst time.
Facing your own guys.
Yeah, training's horrific, and that's why I probably like. Do you go in there and battle against them blokes in small nets?
Yep.
Bowl a couple of foot over the line. Normally the wickets aren't very good. Backgrounds aren't great. So it's like you try and go out there, count all your fingers going in, count them on the way out, and just hope that you get through and you're sweet.
Obviously, when you were playing your shield cricket, and you spent so many times, I think took you 17 knocks of 50 before you made your ton.
690s, I think, 590s.
Yeah. What was it that held you back? Because technically, well, certainly, and skill-wise,
yeah,
if you can make 90, you can make a ton.
100%. And I get 0 is better, 90 is better than 0. And that's the I guess the mentality I took in.
Yeah.
And I was just playing really well. The funny thing is, cricket's such a silly game.
Yeah.
If I got 4 on the bounce in 2012 or 13, went 90, 90, 90, 90 on the first 4 hits of the season. Now, if 3 of them are 100, I'm probably in South Africa. I'm on a test tour.
Absolutely.
4 of them might be on a test tour as a 19. It's a bit like Hughesy did. You then obviously, and we're talking over 4 innings, you're talking
30, 40 runs.
Yeah, 20 runs. It's like just crazy stuff. So tough that I didn't get it, but I've made up for it, I guess, in the second half.
The amount of patience you must have waiting for the right ball or the right moment. How do you go about doing that? Like, do you just switch on from run up to your play a shot, then switch off? Or because it must be impossible to concentrate. You'll be out there for 4, 5, 6 hours at times.
Yeah, I just switch
off. But is that a
and
mind thing? It's
clearly
you
a
just
mind
switch
thing.
Off,
I think I just look in the crowd, you look around and see who's here. Like Dad might be there, one of my mates might be there. I enjoy talking to the opposition a little bit, like
on the lip.
Nah, like
just a bit of fun.
If Dutchy Holland, Scott Boland, for example, or Marcus Harris or Nick Madison from the Vixens just stand at mid-off and be like, hey, dog, what's going on? Like, and just chat or chat to the umpire. And as much as some of the blokes are a bit more fierce and aggressive, don't like team blokes chatting, but like now I've got a stage and I've built relationships outside the game and everything. You're pretty relaxed about things. And the result for me now doesn't really matter. I'm all about the process, and as long as the process is right, so don't get caught up in the result, so I can go out free mind and play really well. Take us through. India's another planet, isn't it, for cricket? What is going on in that place when you're in the IPL? Is it just insane? It's just full noise. It's just nothing can quite. I was at Delhi for 1 year, didn't play. Yuvraj Singh was on 3.2 million or something. Like, I was on less per. My whole salary was. He was getting more per game. So it was quite surreal, and I was young. And then I went to Bangalore for 2 years and got to go and went okay. Yeah. But we had Kohlli, De Villiers, Watson, Gale, Dan Vittori was coach. And mate, Virat and Gale walking out the bat, opening the batting at Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore was the most ridiculous thing. Like, you cannot hear a thing. Like, really? Can't even hear your own thoughts. It's that loud. They just went nuts. So it was like, different level. And that was, and I was like 21, 22, like real youngster. AB was hardly training. And I look back and I'd love to do it completely different. I sort of got, like, I just sort of fell into their habits. And that guys that played for 15 years of cricket and 10,000 test runs and can do whatever they please and earned the right. And here I am as a 20-year-old lurking around going like, pretty happy with my own work. So, what's going on off field in India? Like, I imagine the excess is astounding, the amount of money around, but while you're there playing IPL, is it just crazy, all the opportunities and the things you're doing outside of cricket? Yeah, you can't do too much because of just how much, you can't get out with AB de Villiers ain't leaving, Virat's not leaving the hotel. You stay in the hotel a fair bit and you try and get out bits and bobs, but when you get out, they can't go out. You get mobbed, Really? It's just crazy. You have opportunities to go out. It's cool. And even with the Australian team, you get opportunities to go out and you enjoy yourself and they're just so accommodating and everything. But the lifestyle is cool. So just with that, with India, if you walked around India now, yourself through, in one of the main cities, it's a big cricket city, would you be mobbed? No, I wouldn't be mobbed. They start to work you out? They'd work you out because there's cricket there and they'd put white guys walking around and they go like, I'm thinking about... They start Googling going, hang on. Yeah, the way that... First, I get a lot of people who think that I resemble AB de Villiers, so that's the first thing. So like they wouldn't know me, but they know AB and then they go, it's probably not AB, and then they may. But yeah, most of the guys that play for Australia, when we're there and touring, everyone knows what town you're in, and if you're getting around, they can sort of sense what's going on. So Virat Kohlli walks out of a hotel. He doesn't. He couldn't. No chance. No chance. Not a chance. Nah. Really? Nah. That'd be a tough. It'd be a tough place to. I couldn't imagine what they would do. Like Adelaide's easy for me. Like get around Adelaide, no one really cares. Boki on the other hand, or Tex, or the attention that the footy boys, it's a footy state.
But still,
but then you times that by like,
yeah.
If Boki walks through Rundle Mall,
he can still walk through and a few people
imagine Rundle Mall just flat chat, just not a single soul there, and everyone's just admired watching him. That's what it'd be like.
Really?
Yeah. Like there'd be no one else in another shot, and they just roll. Like it would just be ridiculous. The city would shut down, mate. If Virat walked out into a mall, it's just mayhem.
Is that right?
Yeah, crazy stuff.
God, it sounds like Tony Modra when he used to go and get his lunch at West Lakes in '93.
He gets security guards just take him out of the oval, didn't they? Just drive him out.
Geez, that'd be a tough life being an Indian cricketer in India.
Yeah, I think that's why I would assume that they would enjoy travelling and going to getting to England and coming to Australia and
I would imagine. Like when Warney would have walked through India, it would have been a similar thing, wouldn't it? Just
the king probably everywhere he went was draws attention. Yeah. But the big stars are just crazy.
Wow, that's insane.
It's cool to experience.
Yeah. What about in terms like in India as well? Too, I imagine the excess in terms of money and the opportunities is like ridiculous.
It's getting more and more and more, and you see the guys now getting absolute bucket load to go, and they're talking longer IPLs. They're talking about a little bit like the live stuff. There's rumours about taking over 12-month contracts, and because a lot of the IPL teams own other franchises around the world, South Africa, West Indies, and so there's rumoured about we could buy a player and then that player
contracted each
and
countries.
How that looks, and I think that's a long way off. But who knows where that path goes? But they're talking in a couple of years' time. It works in 3-year cycles, and then there's a big auction and everything. And I haven't been in it for a few years, obviously prioritising Test cricket. But in the next couple of years, I'd love to go back. It's a wonderful experience. I'd like to experience it, having known what I'd done when I was a lot younger, and feeling like my game's got to a different level. And
so you don't think you'd have to go back and pick up those Boilermaker studies?
No, hopefully not. And I'm not talking about getting anywhere near what the boys are getting, but I would just love to go and just do it again.
Tell us about the test debut.
Yeah, in Dubai. Yeah, amazing.
Moment you get your baggy green.
Yeah, Nathan Lyon is very emotional. It's been obviously well documented on the test documentary on Amazon. Yeah. A very emotional man. I think there was a mixture of a lot of nerves. And emotion, because we played with each other in South Australia. So got the opportunity to choose him. But it was a whirlwind couple of months. Like we went to India, 8 guys got picked out of that A tour, and we all went to Dubai, and it was a really good series.
Baggy Green is probably the most important, most significant piece of Australian sporting kit you can get, I reckon, isn't it? The most prestigious.
Yeah, get goosebumps thinking about it. It's a very cool club to be involved in. It's what comes with it, and I think just the past history. There's a lot talked about, like when we get into the Australian cricket team culture and what we're about and how we play, but ultimately that's been already set up. The path has already been set by what's previous. And I think that in itself represents that the most. It's the Baggy Green and what it means and how much it means to people. That's been flowed onto others. So like how Adam Gilchrist and how Steve Waugh and Ricky Ponting see it and cherish it and believe in it and would do anything for it. That then you have that attitude around it as well. And I think that's flown through Australian cricket in the way that you should act and be in the Australian cricket team.
I mean, you make your T20 debut, you make your ODI debut, but that Test cricket nod, is that the moment?
Yeah.
That's the one where you just go...
Yeah, that's the pinnacle, and that's and I hope that stays the same. It's something that I worked extremely hard for. And then, and to get there now and to do it 27 times and... it doesn't lose any feeling or sense of how special it is on me. Every time I get out to play, and I think that when you said about before about what I'm thinking about and doing, every time I go out to play, I just try to soak in as much of the experience as possible, because it might not happen a week later. You might not get that chance again. You might not be able to walk out on Boxing Day. Might not be able to walk out at Adelaide Oval again. And who knows what that journey is going to, it could be for 10 more years. It could be for 2 more tests, or it could be 1 test. It could be no more tests. So try not to lose what that feels is important to me.
Just with that, you figure realistically, there's 12 blokes in Australia at any one time. And you think a 5-year-old Trav driving past, seeing a little game of cricket and all that sort of stuff, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people. It doesn't get lost on you or any of the boys, does it, that there's 12 of you at any one time?
No, I think it doesn't get lost, but you can get caught up, I think, sometimes. You can lose sense sometimes, and that's normal, I think, and that's normal for anybody to be when you're such entrenched in a bubble and you can lose sight of things and that's why that's why home's important to me. That's why Adelaide's important to me. That's why friends is grounding for me. And I've learnt that over the years. There's been moments where I've been dragged into it and you can get caught up in the bright lights, and I've had some really close people that be able to pull me in line over the years and just remind me of that, which has been a real good eye-opener, and I'm glad I've had that at an early age. So
how have they done that? Or have they seen, these people you trust, your mentors, have they seen something, or do you know what I mean? Has it been, how have they picked that up, do you reckon?
Well, I think you just get caught in being a young kid, and I talked about how I went to India as then you get in the Australian career team, you're mixing with some guys that they're talking about houses, cars, money, investments, what they're doing, like kit, shoes, jewellery, whatever it is. And they've earned it and they've done it and they've done it a long time. And you come in as a new kid on the block, and then I might come back to Saka, and then you just pick up little things, maybe how things you talk about. And we got to remember that we lived a very, very privileged life. There's not a lot of people that are able to do what we're able to do. Like you said before, there's sort of 12 guys. So reminding to be myself, to be the kid from Craigmore or Gawler and not get caught away in the bright lights.
Trev, who checks you? Is it your Redbacks teammates? Is it, family? Is it someone says, hey, Trev, you just...
Yeah, it was at the time, it was boys that I was playing with at South Australia. So,
right. And what would you happy to share? Well, what would they say? Like, mate,
it was a pretty brutal clip. Like,
really?
Pull your head in, basically.
And not as in a take the piss. It's like a real...
No, it was like, don't forget where you come from. And it was guys who had experienced it and played it and done it. So, we're talking early days. 21, 22. So understood that pretty quickly and learnt that. And you can't always look. You can't always look in a mirror and see what you like. You need people around you. It's important because you can get lost in it, and people do.
So what do you do now to check yourself now, instead of ever needing these sort of people to come back and say, "Hey, Trav, come on"?
Well, I think I know that now. Like, I've got what I want. Like, I've got what I need that's important to me. Family, like Jess, now Milla.
Do you look at the papers? Because, I mean, you can be a split second and make one mistake.
Yeah.
And, it's so critical.
Yeah.
You've got thousands and thousands and thousands of people ripping in you because you've made an error or played a silly shot.
Oh, yeah. The cricket side of things doesn't, I read it all and whatever. And there's a fair bit of scrutiny at the moment after Sri Lanka and not playing well. And there's been a lot of people, that's out of my control. I worked really hard in Sri Lanka. I was really content and happy.
And this is when you look only months early, you play the series.
If I nick one, it doesn't really matter. The one that's like, I'm doing Dead Set Legends. I'm on Saturday morning.
Yes,
so I start
in
a couple of days. Yeah, start in a couple of days' time. And I went in last week. And I think it's a real eye-opener that we're talking about the strikers. And I said about Linny coming over, and I thought about Lynn and Sids and Kez. And I actually said myself, it's out people who would come and watch. Yeah. And Triple M digital team put it together and said, he's happy about Linny and Chris and the 5. And I had myself. And the 6 comments was, what a flog. Good to see you so humble. Put myself, I don't come watch him. And so I was like, fair. And that's probably more like, if ever I nick one, don't care.
Yeah, right.
And someone says, he's no good or he's shit. Like, so be it. But then all those things are good learning. So I wouldn't know. When I said it, my mind, like, you wouldn't think it would be going down that path.
Of course.
Things happen. But I read things, don't bother me. Like a little bit about the stuff I spoke about before about the attitude and how I perceive things now, and that is I'm a lot calmer, and those things don't really. Yes, I would love to be liked by everyone. That's my personality. In the past, I've been flat about people if they had a different opinion or disagreed and whatnot. That hurt a little bit. I didn't really deal with those things quite well. Like, and that was weird because in the captaincy thing and telling guys I weren't playing or guys that weren't playing and feeling like I was losing relationships where I never was. Learning those things, I think, makes me understand things a lot easier.
Well, Trav Boak has said here, in the past, once he accepted who he is and he was told it's okay to be me and you don't need to impress anyone or, once you get that comfort within yourself, God, the world is a lot more fun.
Oh, it's 100%.
And you feel like you're getting there in that sort of spot.
And I got thrown in the deep end as a 21-year-old captaining the state with a lot of senior guys, and I had really close friends, for example, Kane Richardson and Adam Zampa, guys who I was really close with who weren't, if they weren't getting picked or if they didn't feel like the program was going in the right way, I didn't know how to deal with my mates criticising me and then feeling like, if they've got the shits with me or the program or they're not getting picked and I didn't know what to say to them. I hadn't experienced those things, and I thought, it's the fear of losing that relationship. I see it different. Like, it's not. It's different. It's not. You never will. The relationship will be there.
Of course.
And you got to understand that. Yeah.
Well, in turn, you look at it, only months after making your test debut, you were vice captain of Australia's test team, weren't you?
Yeah.
Like, that's a massive acknowledgement. I think you and Pat come and split the vice captaincy. Like, you're talking to, guys older than you in your Shield team at 21, but when you're the test vice captain of Australia, did that take you by surprise?
It took me by surprise, but I feel like on field, I would be able to, there's a lot of guys that can work on field stuff. So off field stuff that's the issue, and that's stuff that's come hard over the years and I've learned, but I was just there to support Painey, basically.
Yeah,
I didn't see it as like anything other than that. I was like, great, whatever, if I'm vice captain or I'm not, doesn't matter. Like, after experiencing the captaincy stuff and learning all those things and whatnot, like, I'm also not the perfect captain or perfect leader or whatnot. And it's a very big honour to be that, but it was just a job. It was like, no worries. If there's need a hand and I'm here, but if not, then sweet.
It's funny listening to you because you're thrust into that sort of vice captaincy as well. And early on, it's vice captain of the Australian cricket team.
Yeah. And to be honest, I don't really think about it. And like when you said it, I was like, there's moments where I've like not forgotten about it, but because it wasn't so big on it's not big on my agenda. Leadership isn't big on my agenda. It's something that I never chased it, never wanted to. I think you captain your underage teams on skill. The best player normally does it, not the best leader.
Yep.
Whatever the Saka seen in me when they gave it to me at 21, whether or not that's because I'd done it or not, but I've seen it just opened a different world for me about what leadership is, and not necessarily the best player is the best captain. It's the it's the best people person. It's best at relationships, the best communicator. Some things that I was horrific at the start and still are working towards being better at, but understanding ultimately what it means to be captain or a leader of the team. And your responsibility, and I feel like the responsibility is to look after your teammates as much as possible.
That's your main key.
Yeah, I think so. I think you try to create a relationship, you try and create an environment as best as you can for guys to want to come in and enjoy it. And I've definitely learnt that over the years, and I'm a lot more content in my leadership. On the field, stuff will look after itself. The game dictates and all those, like the decisions I make on the field, but it's the off-field stuff about trying to just give as much guidance as I can to the younger guys.
Well, it's no fluke because clearly they pick you at 21 to captain the state, youngest captain in history, and then you're in the Australian team for a few months and they pick you as a vice captain. So people are consistently seeing. Do you know what they're seeing?
I think from the start, I think the number one thing I try to do is, as a leader, was lead on the field and try in my performance. So. And I think that's where my results, if you look at my South Australian record as a captain, I've taken a lot of responsibility, and my sole purpose was to earn respect on the field. And I always felt like if I can earn respect on the field, I have it off the field. Not necessarily the case if you do you know what I mean? Then you revert back to the learnings that you learn and your relationships and all that. It's not necessarily just if you get runs and you're going to be a good captain. But that was what I tried to do at the start. So maybe that added responsibility helped my game. But the Australian stuff come at a interesting time. There was a review, and we all went in and did a leadership interview as such to the board. That was pretty.
Well, you must impress them.
There was 6 of us that did it, and I was walked in. I had so much prepared, and I got in there and I was packing myself it's something. And I just sort of shut my book, and I was like, what I am as a leader is what we've done at South Australia and what we're trying to do, and I'm not the finished product, and we're trying to work on it. And that was about it, really.
That's all you had to say?
Well, I didn't really felt like I had to prove anything or say anything. I went in there and spoke what my experiences has been, and and that was a good experience as well to actually dive into that and see and learn. And I think that's where all that relationship stuff and the communication stuff and what I actually needed to work out was the point where it comes.
So what are they asking you? What's your philosophy as a captain?
Oh, geez, it was a long time ago now. They were just trying to appoint the next guy, and I think there's me, Josh Hazelwood, Painey, Mitch Marsh. I'll probably miss a couple. There was that 6 of us, and then we all went to the board. It was pretty intimidating, and I was like, very young, and in terms of how much I played, I don't think I'd even played Test cricket at that stage. So it was cool. Cool experience. Finchy did it as well because he's captain now. So.
Cricket inevitably you're going to have fails because just the nature of the way it is. It might be a good ball, it might be a lack of concentration. How do you deal with those rough patches? Because you know they're always going to be there.
Yeah, I think you always know that it's around the corner that you're going to come out of one. And I think that's been one of my strengths over my career is that I've been able to find ways to. It hasn't been pretty, and I think my batting sometimes isn't pretty, but being able to compete and find a way, that's important to me. And even when you're going well, the same sort of thing, the same philosophies count because when you're in form, you want to try and stay in as much form as possibly can. But yeah, for example, Sri Lanka, I played really well in the one days and then didn't play really well in the test stuff. And all that come out was how badly I played in the test cricket. But I played really well in the one days when I got my opportunity. I got 100 in the A game leading up, and then I got 70 odd in not out in one of the ODIs. And so I went in with full confidence. Now it didn't work. So basically I only missed out in 2 tests. Yep. So,
and that's enough for
and it's not for everyone to be like, because then you're back on Pakistan. So then I missed out on 2 tests in Pakistan. But then my ODI cricket again was, I got 100 and then I got 89 in the second one. So I come out of that tour like, okay, I missed 2 games, but I struck in 2 games. And then in Sri Lanka series, I was like, okay, got some runs in the start. And so as a whole tour, you're like, yeah, there was opportunities I could do better, but there's opportunities as well. So I don't feel like I'm completely out of nick.
Yes.
So
perspective.
Yeah.
Some amazing things have happened to you off the field. Yeah. So when you're a 19-year-old, I remember this, I was reading about it the other day. I'd forgotten about it. Then I started to remember going, oh, that's right. You got hit by a car at the front of the Lion Hotel.
Yep.
Now, you'd only had a couple of drinks celebrating a victory, so you weren't drunk walking down the middle of the road or anything like that.
No.
But the bloke driving the car was. But you got pretty much smacked by the car in front of all your teammates.
Yeah, I got cleaned up. I was living in Gore. I was living at Craigmore with Dad at the time still. I was just in and out of homes and we beat Vicks, had a few beers, went home. Dad dropped me back at the line and Hughesy was going to India the next day, so he wasn't drinking much. And so I didn't drink. So I was like, yeah, no worries, whatever. It's funny how those things work. Like the one night that any other time we win a sugar game and everything, like I would have stayed at the line, I would have had Chivagos, and then, you know what I mean? Like, and so for whatever reason, I was leaving. There was a few boys that were worse for wear. I remember Ferg being there and Chatty Saz was across the road and he was definitely worse for wear. And I was going to say goodbye to him and make sure everything was right. And I was still undecided on whether I was going to kick on and go to Chivagos, even though I was sober. And I was like, oh, should I? I'm not sure. And then, across the road and he come whipping around the corner and clean me up.
Bloke was drink driving. And so would you end up stitches in your head, stitches in your back?
Yeah, so the lucky thing, I jumped and hit the windscreen. So nothing hit I think just the inside of my ankle was the only thing. But basically they said if I didn't, then both my legs would have been pretty much cactus.
So you've had enough time to see.
I seen him right at the end and I remember the car being like hit there and jumping and sort of I flipped back and head into the windscreen up on the roof and ended up like 20 or 30 metres down the track. Woke up, people everywhere, claret everywhere.
Jesus.
So the eyes in the back of my head were rolling around. I think Ferg was very, very worried, as you would be.
Yeah.
And then the best thing I did was got in the ambulance and asked for the breatho. Again, don't know why. I just was like,
did you say breatho?
Yeah, I need the breatho because I'm not drinking. I know everything that happened. I'm cool. Like I've got a bump and headache, but
right.
I was like, I need the breatho, and so I blew it up, blew 0.06, so right on the limit. Which the police were like,
to not to drive,
but like, you know what's going on.
Yeah, of course.
Technically, you're right on the limit to drive, but
yeah.
So they're like, you still know where you're going, still know what's going on. So you've made the right decisions. And because the next day, Keith Bradshaw went to the presser and every question was loaded into drug and alcohol policy. What are you going to do about it? And it was like, well, hang on.
Yeah.
Save my ass, because if I woke up the next day and no one knew what that number was, then perception does wonderful things. A bit like the crybaby thing last year when we all got kicked out of the crybaby, for dancing on tables and being abusive, which none of them were true. Perception is that the Redbacks are all cannons and we're going out and we're getting kicked out of nightclubs after a draw and where are our heads at?
Yeah,
it's totally wrong.
Yes.
So it's amazing where perception can go and social media and what these things are.
So you're 19 at this stage.
19.
See, that's why they made you captain, because you're smart enough to go, give me the breath.
Knock some sense out of me.
Pretty amazing for you to even be thinking that.
Don't know why I thought, and that's the thing. You don't know why. Like, don't know why I wasn't.
It's your natural responsibility, honestly, coming out in that.
So got through that. Geez, I was sore for a few days, and the most important thing for me was going and seeing the boys. Like, been pretty tough to see. Like, Chad was like this far away from us when. I remember the white lines and running across the white lines, and the car see me and try to go around me, but then if he kept the line, I reckon I might have missed me, but he seen me and went the same way I was running.
Yeah.
So to see me just get clean straight up, I was like, so I remember going and I had rashes all over me, gravel rashes everywhere, stitches in me back of my head, groggy as all, like, because I've been clean proper up and the proper knocked out. And went into training to see the boys because I felt like that was just to make sure, like, just to tick it off. Hey, I'm okay. You can get on with it. Yep. Don't worry about me.
I imagine they probably would have thought that you may have just been killed.
Yeah. And the calls were pretty intense that were made to the Ambos and that to come.
They had actually thought
they thought I was in some real strife.
All sorts.
So, which is fair because he was flying.
Jesus.
But yeah, hard head. Yeah, but it was important for me for the guys to know that you can crack on because there was bigger things for me. The team was playing not in the near future. Like it was not far from the next game and where guys were heads out. It was important for me to be like, I'm fine and I'll get on with it and I'll deal with it.
So you made a quick recovery. You were back playing within a
I missed played sort of 8 days in, which concussion rules and everything. I remember running around Adelaide Oval, 40-degree heat, stitches still in. There was a Rugby Cup game on the Saturday. I not played one day cricket. I remember being like so dizzy and so just rooted running around this Adelaide in this field. And your stitches still in. I was stretching. I was cooked. Like I probably should have missed a month if nowadays with the concussion stuff. And then went and played Craig cricket the other day, and the next day I got 180, and then come in and said they should have picked me. So now it's out of everyone's mind. So like when young blokes come in and it gets brought up, or because I got a big dirty scar still on my back, and I'm missing half my hair still. That's why I've got long hair because I got big.
Have you got a little somewhere? Oh yeah, a little bald patch.
Yeah, so whenever it's like get a haircut and it's not there or back, and all the masseuses ask it.
Yeah,
so we're on the bench and where'd you get that scar from? And it always comes out, and it's like hang on. What?
Yeah.
Like,
so that's nearly 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
If you're okay, I'll ask you about Phil Hughes, because I know within 18 months, still as a young man, you lose one of your good mates. You're living with
bits and pieces, times, So he was in Connell Street. So he had a little apartment and I was living in Gawler still. So went to the Bath Hotel the first day we met him and he come in with his 2 diamond earrings and and I just sort of said, hey mate, and buggered off into the corner like I was 18.
Yep.
And then we went out and had a few beers because I was single and so was Coops and a few others. And so there was a crew of us around. Nathan Lyon was still around then.
Yep.
Sort of said my goodbyes and I was living in Craigmore. So I get the $160 cab back to Craigmore and I went to South Gawler the next day, watched the footy, have a few beers and phone rings.
Yeah.
Look at it. Oh, Phil Hughes. Brothers, what's going on? What are you doing? What's happening?
You'd only just met him.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And I reckon that he got worded up basically. So my theory is he got worded up. Hey, we've got a young kid, left-hander. Look after him a little bit. Show him the ropes, whatnot. He was also new to town, so he's looking for people to hang out with. But I think he got directed in my direction a little bit because I was going, this is a different level. So catch up with him, and then that relation just grew and grew and grew. And I would stop in at his place and stay every now and then when I didn't want to go home. And then, so no, we got really close, and he was great for my game as well.
What did he teach you?
Say a 4-day game, like if you got a duck in the first innings, you just about get 100 in the second. His self belief and the belief of just winning a game was nothing like I ever witnessed. And I try and take that now. It's like, if I get a duck in the first innings, I'll just try and get 100 in the second innings.
And you think of Phil straight away?
Yeah, it was just, I tell guys the same thing. Like he was just like, don't worry, you'll get 100 in the second innings and you can win the game. And his belief, he would like send us messages going, don't worry boys, tomorrow I got it all under control. Like we would be like in trouble or we need to win a game. He goes, don't worry boys, leave it to me. And majority times he'd walk out and get like he was a freak. He was 26. He had 27 first class hundreds or something. Like he would have been, he would have played so much Test cricket. Yeah. Cricket aside, just like the bloke it was and everything, but absolute freak, mate. Like his self-belief. He got dropped 4 times from Australia and went back 4 times from up to 26.
Trav, obviously when the tragedy happened with Phil, does it make you question cricket? I mean, I suppose you look at the potential dangers, but it is a fluke.
Yeah, it's sort of fluke. I still think about it.
How does that affect you guys, particularly as a young man who sounds like he was a huge mentor for you?
Affected us hugely early. I remember we go to Tassie and we played it out and we went well in the first innings and then the second innings, that ball bounced, we bowled out for like 50. Everyone was like, no thanks. I still think about it and still think of the dangers and still think, even though it was such a freak accident, that freak accident could happen again. Like, so I think about it a lot, think about him a lot. So, it's tough. It's a long time ago. It's just right at times flowing. So it's still difficult. Yeah, it still goes through your mind, and then I guess when, like you said before, what you think about when they're bowling fast, and if those things do come in your head, then when it's released, when the ball's released, you forget about them and you get on with it.
Yeah. So is it a bit of Phil Hughes in your cricket, or the way you go about it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think that's brought the best out of me, because that's nowhere near the same skill set or anything, but the same mindset, and having watched him do it and everything, that's a style that I love to play.
Just you saying that, about him coming up against adversity 4 times and coming back, and then I, think of those 2 great knocks you had in the Ashes, in Brisbane and Hobart. You come in at shit times. Yeah, come in. I think you're 4 for 39 or something, and you come in against adversity. You're able to play one of the all-time great knocks.
Yeah, I think, and also, not that it was a free hit, but I was playing well. So I got 100 at the Gabba, and I missed a week because of COVID. And so to come in, those things I'd already played well in the series. Yep. So you're going in there, like, it could be completely different if you're on the bounce of a couple of bad test matches and you walk out at 4:30 and you're like, but I had a lot of confidence in my game, a lot of confidence and self-belief from the team and the captain and the coach to go out and play. And I actually felt like I played a lot better in Tassie, and I was never going to go out there and be as aggressive as I was. It was just what the game presented to me. And I think that's where I've been over the last few years, is whatever the game presents is you take. And if it doesn't present you anything, then you've got to bide your time until it does. So
right.
And there's a few opportunities there. You try to make your own luck, and the Gabba, the whole game was set up. You smacked
a ton in the session, didn't you?
Yeah, the game was set up.
Only bloke to have done it.
Yeah, the game was set up. The game was set up for me to go out and take it on, and when we talk about why things happen and bits and pieces, Pat the day before was just unreal. It's just like, go out and just play your way.
Yep.
And the morning of, Gilly come up to me and was like, just go out and smack him. Like,
right.
Joss Butler played really well the day before, taking on. I think got 40 off 40. And he's like, how Joss played, go out and take him on.
Yeah.
And so funny how those conversations happen, and you go out and
it happens.
You never in a million years think you're going to get 100 in a session.
Yeah.
On the first test of Ashes series.
Yes.
But it happened. A few things over my career that I look back and go like, how the hell did that happen?
60 tests at the Gab. I don't know, some ridiculous number like that. No one.
Do you know the best thing is I average about 4 in Shield cricket at the Gabba. I have an absolute stinker every time I go there. But in Test cricket, I've played really well there. So 100, I got some runs against Sri Lanka. The wicket's completely different in a Test match or an ODI. So, but I have an absolute horror run there when I get in Shield cricket. Maybe I should start batting like that a bit more. But
that's
with Tassie, it was just going out, and I played well in Adelaide as well. I just had a free mind, and I was like, we'd won the series as well. So there was no consequences if they're.
But again, you go in and it's 3 for, weren't you, at that point?
Yeah, 3 or 4 for not many. And Marnus was slogging, and I was going, calm down, calm the farm, mate. Like, it's okay. Like, he's like, let's get on with it. And I was going along nicely, and but we played beautifully, and it was a nice way to cap it off and contribute and play well.
When you're batting like that, is it the zone? Are you in the zone? Do you feel that flow? Is it just the confidence is so high that you know you're going to – do you see it like a beach ball? All that sort of stuff that you hear.
Yeah, and then – but when you're in that flow, I think you just got to work it at sort of 90%, if that makes sense. Because the times where you're like – there's times in my career where I've been in that flow and I'm like, okay, strap in, here we go. And then you're sitting in the sheds and you're like, oh, I made a bad mistake. How the hell did I do that? And why did you do that?
Yeah.
Sometimes my best innings have been when I'm hitting them like an absolute busted.
Yeah.
Like,
you can say busted arse here, mate.
Do not know where my next run is coming from.
Yep.
And it just draws my game in a little bit, and you take less risks, and you're like, no, you've really got to work hard here. And then you end up facing 100 balls, 200 balls, and you end up with a really nice score, and you're like, oh.
You've done that.
Okay. But sometimes when you're absolutely braining them, you're walking out and you're going like, I'm on. All of a sudden, the game turns itself around on you, and you're in the sheds. And you're like, how am I not getting runs? Because I feel so good.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how the game and how the mind works. So when you're in that flow, you just try to. So you're still thinking you don't just go on the accelerator and go a million miles an hour. It may look like that, but there's a few times that does happen, and you're like, I'm going.
Yeah.
But most times you try to make sure you don't. You don't get the opportunity very often to sit in that zone and do it. So yeah.
You ever start playing your shots or picking what you're going to do before the ball comes out?
Well, you premeditate definitely in
shorter forms. But what
bit
about
of everything,
when you're doing
really.
Test cricket? You still are?
Well, because of the games, it's what the game gives you. So if it's a bouncer plan and the field's set up, you know where they're roughly going to bowl it in all forms.
Yeah, right.
I think you can take more risk. There's more premeditated risk in short form, but there's still premeditated in Test cricket. It's just not as high risk. So you're premeditating what's coming at you because you're premeditating what the field is, and then you're like, okay, what shots can I play? Am I going to tap it on the head? Am I going to duck it? Am I going to play it like there? So what am I going to do? What could the results be? So you're taking all them in as he's coming around, then he runs in and you're like, okay, and then you hope the subconscious takes over to go the right one, and then that's decision making. And then in one day cricket, it'll be like, okay, you got that field. Am I going to log it, try to hit it 20 rows back over that field and take a high risk and I could be out? Or am I going to take it and take it on, or am I not? And and then so it's that process. So there's always premeditation, I think, in most times you bat because you set the field up, you look around, okay, this is where he might bowl it. What shots could I play? How's the wicket? Yeah. Okay, this is what I want to do. So you're premeditating it. You're looking for it. Yeah. If it's not there, then it's about to make the decision not to play it.
You feel like you've made it?
Oh, it's a hard one. I'm very pleased with where I've come to, and I feel like I've got a lot more to give. There'll be definitely times now of my career that I'll prioritise my family more. Now I'm seeing Milla, so I think that has changed a huge deal.
So tours or different things
Well, just what I do and how I want to live a nice life and be and enjoy myself and do things that make me happy and make my family happy. I think in the past I've been very selfish in what I've done, which is fine.
You have to be though.
You have to be to get where we are and the things that I've done and the tours I've gone on. And not so much Australia, like you play for Australian heartbeat, but what you do around that and how much time you play on the road, county cricket, IPL, things you do, whatever it may be. But finding time now for that and for family, where I do it, where we travel to. I've got the support of Jessica, which is amazing to do that. That's been a long journey around because when we first got together, it was like, what do you mean you travel? So I've prioritised what I wanted to prioritise to get to where I am. Definitely very happy and very pleased to where I'm being, but there's a lot more to give, but it'll be done in a slightly different way, I reckon.
How did you woo her? How did you?
We were together at school.
Right.
So I met at Trinity. Yeah. And then we had a few years apart.
Did you have to convince her or was she convincing you? Did you chase her?
No, it was probably me chasing her, but we'd always kept in contact. And then it just...
So she knew you were going to be playing cricket?
She didn't really know. Yeah, but she didn't really understand it all. So, basically, we got back to... We started talking again around that first Shield final. And then I was going to India the next day and then going straight to England.
Jeez.
And I flew to England. I said, come to England. And she was like, what?
Just started talking to her again?
Yeah. And we talked I went the whole IPL, we were chatting away, and then I was like, well, come to England, come to Yorkshire.
Right.
And you're like, what? She took a couple of weeks off, she come over. So then we're living, it was full noise because we're living together and everything. Yeah, it was only fresh and everything. She didn't really understand it all, and like the 6 months back, 6 months there, and it was like no chance. But then sort of understanding it and talking to other girls and understanding the lifestyle and all that kind of stuff and what I wanted to do and what I'd achieve. And she's done amazing things. She's just done an MBA and with flying colours, an unbelievable mother after a week. She's unbelievable. So now I want to prioritise our family as much as I can and do the things that we both feel we're most comfortable with. So whether that's county cricket, IPL, whatever it takes us, now there's a bigger picture for me now. It's not just purely about myself.
I hope you paid for the trip when you told her to come there. So that's the best investment you've ever made.
Yeah, well, it's very funny because I flew a business as well. So
come on.
I set an early precedence, didn't I?
What did that knock you back?
Oh, I don't know.
Geez, that's a bit.
Yeah, I know, and it's quite funny, and she won't mind me saying this, but I said, it's an expensive date to get back, and but it was definitely worth it. Let me say that. But I did set a precedence because then I was like, you can never go back.
No,
it can't be that. Oh,
absolutely.
Actually, I'm gonna flick you in the back.
Mate,
so,
if you ever pay for a cattle class flight for Jess, you're in massive trouble.
Yeah, huge trouble. Jess is a big planner. Yep. And I'm not. I'm like, we'll book it tomorrow and we'll go. Yeah. So I was like, don't worry, I've got it sorted. And she's like, I really need that. Like, it's like a week out. I'm like booking a flight, going like, there you go. And like, so it was so funny. And she was like, what in God's name's happening here? Like, what am I getting myself into probably?
Yeah. Just conscious of time. But I've got to ask, obviously all these things that have happened to you, You're both on a plane in the Maldives, and this plane makes an emergency landing. Was that earlier this year?
Yep.
You must be sitting there going, what is going on in my life?
Yeah. I'm not a real great flyer either. A bit scared of heights.
So what's going on? You're sitting on the plane?
Yeah, we're coming back from the Maldives and a bit of weather. We're in the dark. It's pouring with rain. And we didn't know at the time, but I think they're picking up people as they go, and they just just island hop on their way.
Like a bus?
It was a bit, yeah. It was like plane rocked up at different times and everything. So picked us up. All of a sudden.
This doesn't sound like it's going to end up being a good story even before it happens.
25 minutes in, we started descending, and I was like, geez, it wasn't this quick on the way. It was longer on the way there. I was like,
oh no.
And then we gave it like the touch the tarmac back up again. And I was like, nah, I'm not having this. Like it was, I was like, I'm not having this at all. And went back up, and I was like, and I'm gripping it because I'm bit horror on flights.
Yeah.
Which is funny because with the amount of flights that we go on.
Exactly.
And Jess loves roller coasters, so she's sort of giggling.
You're not in business either at this point.
No, we're actually on the last seats on the plane because that's where it gets funny.
So that's why you would have felt uncomfortable because you hadn't been there for a long time.
Yeah.
And she hadn't.
Yeah, exactly. I was sitting on the toilet at the back. But we come down again, touch, and he's flying, brakes, run out of tarmac into the paddock, and we're bouncing along the thing, and he's turning, and
Jesus.
We stopped, and it was pouring and everything, and then so I can only see my side, so I was fine. I was like, but I can't see the other side, so I don't know if a wheel's come off or if it's what's happening and that, and the hostie's running up and down, and you can see the fireys and that coming, and now I'm like packing it, and I'm like, we're the last ones on the plane, so and everyone's like, oh, everyone's taking it easy, and I'm like, get off the plane as fast as we can, and then everything was fine. So, did you think that was it at one point? Yeah, when I was looking at it and the brakes are glowing red and he started a veer and I'm like, he's veering and he's flying. Jesus. And then I seen grass. I was like, we're in huge trouble here.
Bloody hell.
And we bounced along about 40 or 50 metres in the grass and stopped. And then we got out and we were like, oh my God. And then we sat there and we got locked in for about 5 hours and no phone reception, no nothing. Like, who knows what was going on. But we were never going to miss a connection. We were flying the next afternoon. So
what? They lock you in the airport?
They locked us in the airport and no one was speaking English. And we didn't really know what was going on. And then it was like people started getting angry and because they were going to miss connections. And
were they doctoring the safety report or something?
No idea. And then we found ourselves in a lounge and we just chilled out and we're like, well, as long as we get back and we're not dragging that one back out of the mud and getting on that one again. Like we need a fresh one to come in. So
you know so?
Yeah, I was like, not a chance of getting on that plane again. And so we, they got the plane. They got a different plane. We flew over the one sitting in the paddock.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
really?
We went back, and I'm looking over
next
going
day you
like,
could see it?
No, we flew like 4 hours. It was in the dark. So we were flying at like 3 and 2 in the morning.
Oh, sorry, because your connection was the next day.
Yeah,
this was just
so we were getting back to Mali, stay the night, and then fly the next day. So we take off and looking down, going like, "Geez, that thing's still."
Was the plane all still intact?
Yeah.
But it was just clearly not where it was meant to be.
Yeah, it was just a few foot in mud in the paddock. I don't know how they got it. They were going to get it out. Yeah, another one to add on the list to get through. And
mate, you've got through some unbelievable stuff.
That's it for me for a while, hopefully.
Well, we've looked at some of the really challenging stuff that you've gone through, and obviously there's been some bloody good stuff. And just to finish off, like your first test wickets, you took 4 for 10, didn't you? What is that?
That's me done.
4 for 10?
Yeah, I'm not bowling again. I said for a few weeks leading in that if I was ever going to go half decent, I bowled way too much in my career. The stats would suggest that. And that's probably one of the bad decisions of being a captain. I've bowled myself over time a little bit too much. But yeah, I think the enjoyment of just what is going on, and yeah, that's pretty funny to look back on. But yeah, the wicket looked after.
They're fair figures for a absolute gun bowler. Not that you're not a gun bowler, but you'd hang your head on those figures for the rest of your career.
Yeah, and I obviously being close with Nathan Lyon, I did mention to him, I was like, it's not. We had a lot of fun about it over that night and everything. There's a few photos obviously come out. And I'm having fun and people obviously take it however they please. But yeah, there was a photo of me icing my finger and carrying on, and I was giving go. So it's not that hard. And he took me 2 overs and knocked him over. And yeah, it's not. I lapped it up and egged it, put that much nail on it because that will never ever happen again in my wildest dreams. So we'll see.
Trev, what do you still want to achieve in cricket?
I'd love to play for a lot longer in South Australia. I've got 8 to 10 years hopefully left in me. I'd love to have some success, yeah. As much as our journey and me saying that, there'll be a few people that shudder an eyelid or look around the corner and go like, no chance, you blokes are shit. but I think we're building something and very quietly go about our business. I have a lot of pride in the South Australian stuff. It was nice to win a BBL title, but to have something for South Australia would be very nice. It's been a long time between drinks. We've gone through a lot of heartache. We've had our moments. We played in 2 Shield finals and missed our chances. So that hopefully that doesn't give me demons later in my career if I don't get another chance to do it. But I think over the next sort of 6 to 10 years, we can get another chance, and it'd be very nice. And it's probably one thing. That's probably the last thing that I could want to tick off. Having played for Australia and done the things, it would to win a Shield would be nice.
Have you thought about life after cricket much?
Starting to, obviously, with the opportunity for the next 4 weeks being at home and having no experience in this field. We'll see where that takes me, but hopefully if 10 years on, hopefully, cricket's done beautiful things for me. It gives me opportunity to freelance and do whatever it is.
You're not thinking about finishing that TAFE course?
No, I definitely won't be doing baller making, and that's safe to say. I didn't even finish a TAFE course, so it's a tough gig that, and just credit. I got a few mates, so I have a mate who is a baller maker, so credit. It's a tough gig. It gives me a good perspective of things.
Trav, hey, congratulations! Thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate you being so open and honest, and hey, all the best to you and Jess and little Milla.
Beautiful. Thanks, mate.
Good luck with the sleepless nights.
Yes, looking forward to them.
There you go. Travis Head, mate. Absolute, real honour to have you here.
Thanks, mate.
Well, guys, thanks so much for listening. Now, if you love what you just heard, please subscribe to the Soda Room podcast. You could write a review. You can watch the show on YouTube and share it with your buddies. And if you'd like to get in touch with the show, drop us a line, info@thesodaroom.com. Catch you soon.